The cases heard in this courtroom are some of the hardest to hear. They are custody cases stemming from Child Protective Services investigations. Judge Alex Kim presides over the 323rd Family District Court, hearing about 75% of Tarrant County CPS cases, but that's about to change.
Kids are missing out on something that's important to them. I think it's vital to them.
Don Binnicker runs the organization that pairs kids with court advocates. He complained to WFAA weeks ago that Kim had drastically cut the number of advocates kids were getting. Tarrant County also received complaints that Kim had reunited kids with their families, even in situations where CPS workers advised against it. In a closed-door meeting on Thursday, the Tarrant County Board of Judges ruled new CPS cases will be assigned to other judges in other courts. It's the way Tarrant County says things should have been done all along, that one specific judge shouldn't have been hearing almost the entire caseload. Now, the judges who were in that closed-door meeting won't speak publicly about what was said or why they made their decision, but that random assignment of new CPS cases begins here in Tarrant County on March 1st. In Fort Worth, I'm Teresa Woodard.